La'achad called Bnei Yisrael. It was discussed recently about the shtados to try, or the efforts to try to unify all the Yidden. He says, that especially through this, the Makar the Gola. Achdus Yisrael, it brings the Gola. Why? Because Shasivas HaGalos, Yehebechin now is Yisrael. Since the reason for the Galos is the opposite of the Indian of Avos Yisrael. Is that there? No. Not 229? Oh, it seems like these are the same things, just in Yiddish. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the same exact things in Yiddish. Sure you want the Hebrew, huh? No, okay. You want to do the Yiddish? I don't mind reading. No, you could read the Hebrew, and I'm going to look at the Yiddish. I could do it in Yiddish. I have one also, so I can do it also. Oh, why kill yourself? You have this. Okay, Bekeshem with the Yemiledus and the Rambam about a Pesach in connection with the Yemiledus of the Rambam, which he was born in Erev Pesach. So we're suggesting like this. Haderach viderinim as matim chalak ben Shas, Talmud Bavli, there is a Talmud Bavli, Yishalmi, as bechol yim v'yim zomalen ashir, hazay as mem azasayim gan Shas, meshach zman musiyim. Just like we say when it comes to the Gemara, we divided the Shas, like you know that Alter Rebbe divided, so everyone should take a chelik of Shas, and you should learn a little bit of Shas every day, and you should finish the whole Shas. And also there says, there's Daf Yomi, and there's Daf Yishalmi, Daf Yomi Bavli, and Shalmi. But given that we're not going to be using the time and as they time in the Gila Sefer Ram to Mishnatera the Yad Chazaka. So it's a proper thing. They should do the same thing also. The Sefer Rambam, which is called Sefer Mishnatera, or it's called Yad Chazaka also. The Sefer Rambam Stam, right? That's people call Rambam. They mean this Sefer. The Rambam has a lot of Sfarim. Sefer Yekiva, this is considered his main Sefer. Sefer Allah Shalai, which has to do with a Sefer of Halachis, and the einzige von seinen Svarim geschrieben Lashon HaKodesh. Is the only one which was written in Lashon HaKodesh. All the other ones were written in Arabic. So Chof-Zayin the Sefer, the Shurim, you should divide it into the Shurim every day. Every day you should learn on the Seder, a shir, a daily shir in the Ram. Deze allemaal staat ons on the signs in the ganze Sefer Yad Chazaka, Mashas Ma Muslim Yachab Yimachah. This way, all those who join should finish the whole Yad Chazaka in a certain amount of time on the same day. Matev community Yisrael Chitzes and Machadamot Asim Berambam Berabim Masuda the Kapanim Misfal the Gemara Shal Mishnah Teira Reiv Am Hadas Malach. It should be good, like Yisrael to make a siyum in public, to make a suda, Lisa Vabrengen. For finishing the Mishnah Teira, and the more people create, the better it is. From the time of Milas was what's the reason from the reasons, and from some of the reasons in the Milas in learning Rambam. They say if demos I suffer limitated double table nachin without limited Rambam. But besides the fact that when you add limitated, it's a good thing, especially learning Torah a lot of people together. So there's a few reasons. The first reason is Aleph. Door gedem as jeden lernen zusammen themselves in Torah Hashem, Torah achas, einzig in sich. And through this, you can learn same meaning in Torah of Hashem. And then they become achtos, they become one. Biz in a yichud niflish and yichud kameo shulim saklach. Like the Alta can word betanish, I seen a learn to davar so I say for the sachem and yichud nifla. Right when it says in Tanya Perek that when you learn Dvar Chachma, so your person is totally one with the Dvar Chachma, which he's learning. Like, there's no such yichud found in the world, like he explains over there. Was der Fundes verstandig, wir schaust etliche lernen demselben, in was Secha, wann Shalahem, und sie alle ins Acher mit selben Secha, und Melo werden sie durch dem ins Acher, Bichu, Niflechulu, Eichzebeze. So for every Yid, a lot of Yidden, they're one with the Torah. This is a special yichud, the way that oneness a person has with the Torah. And all learning the same meaning, so all of them, through this, become one with each other. And this special yichud. Und Jesus, das ist ein Yichud, das wird aufgetan, nicht durch das sicher klar, stark, durch Teira. So, is was sie is nitzchis is a Yichud nitzchis. So that's B'chlal by Seichel, if everyone's involved in the same Seichel. Over here, especially something of Teira, which Teira is something which is eternal. So therefore, this actus, which is being happening through us learning Rambam, is a Yichud nitzchi. It's eternal yitzchi. An eternal unification with another Yid. Dus das ist nächste Mal Pasche, dass durch dem, als etliche Jeden lernen demselben Ihnen, können sie sich zusammenreden und Apfel sein, und durch dem kommt zu bei jedem Havanna in dem Ihnen. Chatschos, die in der Sim Shabbos, es war bei Suche, weil zwischen die Achtes und Shalom, durch demselben Ihnen in Teirachas. So he says, even if this is besides to the point when everyone's learning the same Rambam, the same thing, so they can all discuss it, and we can through this you understand it better. Even though people have different opinions about things, so there might be some arguments. It says that even though we have arguments with them, Chum have arguments, at the end, everything works out. Everyone has achtos, brings shalom. That's the first reason. The first reason that Rebbe says why this is okay. The launching. This sikha is the launching of this project, of this campaign of learning the Rambam, of Takana. 1984. This is 1984. Yeah. And Achron Shapesa Tafshin and Dalit. So the first reason is because through learning Torah, all the Yidden learning Torah, we all connect with each other. Achtos. That's first thing. Beis, the second thing, is in Sefer Mishnah, that's B'chlal Shaykh to B'chlal any in Torah. This is special for Rambam. In Sefer Mishnah Torah, the Rambam is the Maila Ikkitz and the Mitzvahs Limud V'Diyas HaTorah Kula. It's a special Maila that you know the whole Torah. V'haktim. Let's first, by preface, first that the mitzvah limit hatayra and faran kamadag is a lot of levels in learning Torah. First level is limit hameid alf, limit hameid the ma'aser, and Allah has zikr the chaladam leideis and akayim mitzvah chasam. Is to learn Torah in order to know what to do. All the halachas to know what a person has to know what to do. That's the first level. And that's really the first thing a person needs to learn. A person needs to learn the halachas to know what to do. Beis is leida kol hateidish v'chsav shvalpek kulo, is to know the whole entire Torah. Was in them is lichol kol tamo babli v'yisham mechilto sifro sifri teisvis v'cholam drashim medrashe rajbi chul l'kayim mitzvah sham tishman kol mitzvah game. Kel limod kol halachas agad v'seidah Torah. There's another Indian is that you should know the whole Torah. Whole Torah means to learn Bavli, Yishalmi, and every all the Midrashim. There's another in the Torah Gimel. V'bat is da Ma'ila Michaz limit halachas of Torah. There's a special in Ma'ila learning halachas. And here he says because in Tanya talks about it. That halachas are called the Kesser of Torah. Yishlom mit alle halachas of Torah. Ich was ein in the Yigis Tzrichis, or in them the Decken Chivus zwischen halachas Tzrichis and halachas Tzrichis. You need to learn all the halachas of a Torah, even those the ones which we don't actually do nowadays, Kachim, Taris, Zirayim, all those things. Still, we learn all those halachas even if it's not negaya. And then is da'al limud miyuchak tilachi divriteru me'echazikah. This also as we learn in order to have something in our mind, we should remember we should have something to memorize in our mind whenever and there's special different things that we're supposed to learn to remember. So we have four things. Limud halach is daga shishis da'amayil mechaz. So one of the special another whole sikha, which is the Rebbe discusses about this Indian of learning kol Torah kula, and that's important. First thing after a person learns the halachas atzrichis, everything which he needs to know what to do, learn the little things he needs to know what to do, is to learn all the halachas of the Torah. And that's the next thing a person's supposed to do. Even before he learns all the Bavli, Shalmi, and all the different things, there's a chiyuv to learn, Alter Rebbe holds there's a chiyuv to learn all the halachas of Torah. No, this sikh he doesn't speak that way, but there's a whole entire sikh discussing that. And so over here he says, what's special about the Rambam in about learning the halachas, all the halachas of Torah, is the Sefer Mishnah Torah Rambam is a Sefer v'chanemterum Allah hilchas halachas of Torah. All the halachas in the Torah are found in it. Lashon and Rambam Akdamas l'Sifri Zeh. The Rambam himself writes in his Akdama, Tzibur Zeh mekabes the Torah shavak kulu kulu. Adam keira b'Torah shavak kulu v'achya keira b'Zeh. Yidei mimeno Torah shaval peh kulu. This chibur, the Rambam, includes the whole entire Shabbat, which means he says person could first read the Tanakh, and right after he reads Tanakh, then he could read my Sefer, and you have the whole entire Shabbat. So pretty broad statements, right? On the other hand, the Rif in the Shulchan Aruch doesn't bring a lot of mitzvahs. We're not neig mizman hazeh. We don't have it doesn't have all these things. You can't find kachim over there in Tara. I'm saying not a nekuda, so you can't find not a halachas.
How to make a king and that. So
All these halachas are everything's in the Rambam, but in these halachas, the Rif in the Shechanach doesn't have it. And kommt davon, he says, jeder was wird lernen dem Sefer Rambam is mekayim in Indian to learn all halachas of Torah. So do this, we learn Rambam and mekayim all the mitzvahs. Oh, this Indian of learning all halachas of Torah. He says. He brings from Eira Tzadikim in the bottom that a person needs to be mashlim all his tayag mitzvahs ma'aseh dibur machshava. Therefore, you should learn Yad Agdel HaRambam. Sheish be'bir HaTayag, because the dibur you're going to learn all the machshava, and dibur you're going to learn all the mitzvahs of the Torah. Fine. So the second reason is because through this, which you learn Rambam, you're learning the halachis of Kol HaTorah Kol, which even though over here he just says there's a special mile in it. Different sikh explains that according to Alter Rebbe, there's a chiyuv of Hilchas Talmud Torah, of the limud Talmud Torah, to learn Talmud Torah is after you learn halachas and sichos to know all the halachas of the Torah. And over there he explains halachas li tameim. What does it mean halach? Halachas li tameim, which we have to read. The Ram doesn't give the reasons. It's not like when you learn the Gemara, you see the reasons. Ram doesn't say the reasons.
but he brings the marker where does it say it in the Torah?
He brings psukim,
Yeah.
but he doesn't explain. He doesn't really explain
Why?
Right. Right. There's halachas without time, and that's without the Rambam. The Rambam had a machlekes, the Rosh, and are you allowed to paskin a din if you don't know the reason for the din? If you could, which means if I look in the Rambam doesn't say the full reason, but I paskin based on this. The Rambam holds, yeah. The Rosh says no, you can't. If you don't know the reasons, you make a mistake because you're not going to realize that it doesn't apply in the situation. So the emes Alter Rebbe, this is the whole other sikh. Alter Rebbe Batzim holds that you need to know the reasons, and that's why the Alter Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch he does say the reason. He does explain the whole background, the whole reasoning. But the Rambam writes things very bekitzer. Doesn't go into the reasons a lot. But the Rebbe shows that there's one thing halachas b'tameim, halachas atzrichis. There's halachas atzrichis that you have to learn halachas atzrichis. And that you have to know a little bit bekitzer, at least the reasons, like the Alter Rebbe. So you should learn the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. Basically, the way it comes out from that sikha, and we have to know the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. That's number one, because that's halachas atzrichis. And then we also have to know in chiyuv Talmud Torah is to know kol Torah kol halachis without the reasons. That's the second step. This goes before learning Shas and learning everything else.
Well,
yeah.
How to be a yid.
Oh, but not what to do, even halachshe, which are not neig lamaisa. The first thing is to learn how to be. That's to learn the whole Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch.
Right. From the beginning.
Because that's to know what to do. And for that, Alter Rebbe holds like the Rosh, you have to know also a little bit of the reasons. That's what Alter Rebbe gives the reasons. And then after you do that, then there's a chiyuv to know all the halachis of the Torah, even the ones which are not telling you what to do nowadays. It's not negir nowadays, and to know them just the dinim, even without the reasons, like they are in the Rambam. Basically, to know the whole Rambam. That's where the Alter Rebbe learns the chiyuv of limit kol Torah, all the halachas of Torah. Fine. So these are two reasons. The first reason is because of achtas vayidin. Second reason is because you have all the halachas of the Torah in the Rambam. Neitimim Elov, Eitimim is a davar achinachin kanal, so mechalas in the Sefer Ram l'shurim, from b'chol yem zol yederen, learning them shir kavur liyim zeh, biz mesayim zayin dem Rambam, bizman, mesuyim, alle in dem selben Tag. So so that's why he's suggesting, or it's a beautiful thing, to divide the Rambam, and every day you should learn a certain amount and finish it in a certain time. Gimel, Afal P, as in jeden lernen Teile Shel Peh b'shir kavur mereish ichtal l'choyer achisar. Chora, there's a chisaron. If you every day have to learn a certain amount of a certain sefer, chora, there's something which is a chisaron. There's something which is a chora lacking in that learning. Amasadis chayvas as muss ablernen jede Tag. A kele kavur muss verendigen lernen dem inlos mamasuyim. Because if you know you have to finish a certain quota, and you have to, so you're gonna sometimes learn it
Just read it.
superficially. So he doesn't say read it. He says to learn it superficially, which means you're not going to learn it properly. It's going to be in a way of even shivri, which means you could learn it, but you can stand it on a basic level, but you're not gonna learn it well. So l'chora is an issue. So l'chora is an issue in doing this. So darf men das l'chol reish alein bavarenen durch dem was misbeinen as malain teres havai lemelo pasnit and zolas line beven shitki. So a person has to on his own has to think about how this is Hashem's Torah, and therefore it doesn't befit something like Hashem's Torah that we shall learn it in a superficial way. That's first of all. In other words, he's not saying, oh, you can learn it in a way of shitki, you can learn it in a superficial way. He says you should think about, when you're not in the mood, you should think about it. This is Hashem's Torah, and it doesn't befit that we should learn it in a superficial way. We should learn it well. And Va'id Vikir, and furthermore, Mahat Bechitu is a Hira from Chakman Chama Adon Sidin. We have a Hira from the Fitik Rebbe. At Allein Setelt Sefer Tanya if Chalakin Kvuyim, und es geheißen im Feisen sein Nazei, als Bemeshach Hashanah so Musayim in der ganze Sefer. Chitas, Tanya, Fitik Rebbe divided the Tanya. Every day you have to finish a certain amount. So if you have to finish it, you might read it quickly. So, but he still said we should do it. He says from Teresh, from Chumash, it's not a raya. It's not a raya. Why is it not a raya? Because Chumash, you're still Mekayim in the midst of learning Torah by Chumash, even if you don't know what you're reading. Even if you don't know what you're reading, you're still Mekayim in the mitzvah.
Yeah, we're learning it with Rashi.
Chumash. You learn it with Rashi also. That's true. That's true.
You're right. If you just read the Chumash just plain, you don't know anything. But if you have the Rashi, you
That's a
have.
good point. Good point.
Chitas we do with the Rashi.
Right. 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 Um, good question. I don't know. Atam say, yeah, okay. So Adrab, we have a raya, we have another raya. He's saying from Tanya we have a raya. Tanya for sure have a raya. Hatten davon a Psychas a derech as Chatschis da Efshari es as a limit von Shir Kabur Mereis al bringen zu limit leben Shitchi. Gedei das Tam sal Mailas Adaver, befragt them can mavaran in dem Chisarim. So we see already the Fidik Rebbe already paved the way. He already said he can learn Tanya every day, even though it's possible You're going to learn in a superficial way. Still, so the mile of the mile because of the great advantage which we have from learning, even though sometimes it's not going to be the way it's supposed to be, still, especially we could think about it and that we should that this is Hashem's Torah, and therefore we should learn it well. Hemshech lanal is b'matziyah the meifin chalukas pei gimel halachis shebasef haram zal zayin be'echad meifanim dal halon or b'kulam k'muvam b'li neder. So he's suggesting that the halachis that should be divided. There's 83 halachis in the Sefer Rambam. The Rambam was counted everything. So he
83.
83 halachis. Halachis means a different different like halachas to say that Torah, halachas mamrim, halachas shchenim, halachas each.
Yeah, but there's
There's 83.
600 and yeah.
But the different he divided them up to eight to different topics. 83 different topics.
Oh.
So each one divided up to 83. So Rambam divided his sefer into 83 halachas, and that was suggesting that that should be divided like this. By the way, if you go into this thing about the halachas a little bit, that the Rambam himself writes that there's pei gimel halachas, right? And the end of his Hagdama. So it says, right, and the Rambam himself divided it up. All discussions, what exactly, which part of the divisions are from the Rambam, which are not. So he said like it's out. The Aschala vet zayin ki b'chol inyan teira mitzvahs be'ifim from zizim makdim mi'imal v'asam parashas Emor Zachnisin. So this is Achron Shal Pesach Tavshin Mem Daled. The Rebbe says on Chof-Zayin Nisim on Yom Aleph Yom Rishon we're going to start as soon as possible. Over the Pasha the Limo Darv Zayin Mas and Chalafshi the Ratzon and Mechaber Ramam Keil Leitum Seder Shakav and the Ribas al Yeder learning the Erste Fear Tag Gedamas Harambam Keil Minin and Mitzvahs Chubam B'Yam Shlachas is Min Learning Chalim the Rebbe. I was very into him. But the Rambam wanted that his sefer should be learned ala seder in order, because the Rambam is that he says certain things earlier, and then later he relies on the things that he said earlier. That's the way his sefer is built. That's why the Rebbe said that even though by Shas we know that we divide and Yutas Kislev we divide the Shas, we chalokas Shas. Everyone takes one Masechta, and it's if we all completed the Shas together. Over here, the Rebbe said that everyone should finish the whole Shas, the whole Rambam from the beginning to the end. So besides the fact that if you do if then it's going to be missing in the same actos. Um, he says that over here, since the Rambam is written ala seder, so if you're going to learn a later part of the Rambam, you're going to be missing what the Rambam says earlier. You're not going to really understand even the part which you're learning, because the Rambam was written in a way that it should be ala seder. He says like Nabaltas and Rambam that if Haran Arum Tezim Prakim, he says there's around 1,000 prakim in the Rambam. But that what is coming as with Messiah in the Rambam being Zakim in the Sichos Mamish the Yom. It's going to be close. We're going to finish close to the first time. We're finishing close to Yom. So the Rambam at Pesach. Shana Baal Leina Makol Yisrael Teva. Mevet Demot Kana Machem Achag Asiyim Barabim. We'll make a siyum close to the make it close to the Rambam's Yom at Pesach. And so since he says since we can't make a big proper siyum out of Pesach, because we're all preparing for Pesach, so we should make the siyum in a proper time. So this is where we have it. That's sometimes they make the siyum a little bit later. Today it's just one day later. It's not the
It's not. You're not even close to Pesach.
Yeah, sometimes they do it like a while later until they're able to make it a proper time.
Mhm.
He brings from the Shach on the bottom. The Shach writes And when in 31, out of 31,
Mm-hmm.
from the day, he writes like this, summation of Vav. Kishabayin l'seif Masechta, when you reach the end of the Masechta, Yeshayr ma'at v'seif at Shas HaKesh. You should leave the end of it until a good timing. Yema on a certain day, for a day, the day l'saka mesuda, the day when you can make a suda. L'kach minig le'idiyam, balabatin, shabah rav, l'sayim Masechta, shivaya balabatin gam consuma. Therefore, when the Rav is finishing his Masechta, he tells the balabatin that he's finishing, so he should be able to be there when he finishes it. And he says, "Save it to this kind of mishum kavda teira shaz yene nasa b'yisa hida b'reva machin shapi yochel achas when it was because it's kavda teira. If you push off the siyum to a time that there's going to be more people attending, so you let it so you could push off the siyum. So that's the first thing. Um, that you should learn the first way, the best way is to learn 3 prakim every day.
Yeah.
Beis divos mipnei izes siba is a nit megos uplearning jeden tag 3 prakim. Is that way to say those who for whatever reason are not able to learn every day 3 prakim. There is another seder. Learn mechal yom ein perek, to learn every day 1 perek. Unhebedik them. Learn in Akdama the Zach Nissen. First we start off with the Akdama of the Rambam.
Mm-hmm.
Dan wird es kommen, as man wird Messiah sein, der Rambam in 3 Jahren. So it comes out that you finish the Rambam in 3 years. Around. Cheder Shvat Chof-Zayin then, it was Shnas Tashim Vav, is Shnas Beres, and Matei was Mizos Messiah, so Rambam, even the Pagabis Michas. So in the Rebbe's Meir, very interesting, Rebbe compares it to there's different minhagim about reading the Torah. Today we really, I don't know if anyone does that, but the Rambam himself brings that when it comes to learning, to reading the whole Torah and shul every week, there's 2 ways how to do it. Fire from the same in Hagim and Shlama Sateda. Teda Shuksav Achas Lashana. Other Achas Lashana. One minig is like what we do every Shabbos. We read a parsha and we finish it once a year. And there's another seder is to finish it every 3 years. There's such a seder to read Kriyas HaTorah, to finish the parshas in a way, split it up in a way that you're going to finish it every 3 years. That is that means that's smuching. I get some Rama Mishnah Torah. So it's Mishnah Torah. The Rama also we have these two ways of doing it. Hazevi in the spashet the minig is also science and tedish of ksav achsa shana is gedais is also gestado sein line bei von alf sein ram schon achs aber even nicht but the sweet is sweet to say that but now is the minig is in spashet that everyone reads the Kriyas HaTorah and they finish it every once a year therefore the chatzila best thing is to learn 3 prakim but if for whatever reason there's another seder Gimel there's a third point he wants to add over here Vishlei so the demos all learn Gimel prakim v'yem is a mile of an achtis Israel lima kol halacha shavatera. Through learning 3 prakim, is taka a mile of achtos and also learning kol halacha shavatera. Aber der bike can fell in the chiyuv from lima tela yuna, the chiyuv from apashal al chadish cholah. But what can happen is it can be missing in the chiyuv of learning Torah be'iyam. You're not going to learn it properly. And to add in Torah, to mechadish in Torah, you're going to lose that. You're not going to learn it. You're not going to learn it be'iyam. Shas learn the right prakim atag is schwer to learn all halachas be'iyun pilbachlitzes there. When you're learning 3 halachas, Peretz the battery's low. Is it's basically it's hard to learn be'iyun and to be mefalful in it, right? To learn it in depth and to discuss it properly. Here's a kanes coming as a limas will sign befish until like we said before, and that it's possible to learn it in a superficial way. The Liebe is Kedai, is Diva seine Scheichels also lernen, Zukunft die 3 prakim von jedem ein Halacha, von einem ein Prat, und dem Shir Yemi, die 3 prakim wie in a purple. So therefore, Rabbi says that both 3 prakim, that if you take 1 halacha, that, learn it well.
Well, yeah, but I thought.
Good.
Right?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You hear it? They hear you?
Rabbi Davis, you hear us?
I hear you. I hear you.
Thank you. Thank you, Iranis.
You're welcome. I'm not a rabbi.
Coming in clear. You're coming in clear.
Amazing. So we're discussing. So we started from the beginning. The beginning of the whole sefer. This is a talk about it. Yeah, it's a sikha about it. Yesterday we finished the Rambam, the 45th time, and today we started. Sorry, and we started the right yesterday. So we started learning the Rambam. So they're saying there's different tracks. First one's Mada, yeah, Mada and Ava, yeah. So there's different tracks. One track is to learn every day 3 chapters and finish it in less than a year, less than 1 year. That's one cycle. Another way is to learn 1 chapter a day, right, over 3 years. Both. They both finish at the same time. Both finish at the same time. So this is the time to jump on the bandwagon. It keeps changing because it's less than a year. Yeah. And there's online, there's apps and all different things. You can have it on your phone. And any few minutes, you just finish it. It's not. They have it in English.
I was going once to Chicago and playing for the plane for the Dallas Festival. And this was trying to do Sichos. Said, let's do both. They sounded everyone. It was 2 hours to do Sichos. But it's not the Sichos. And do journal Rambam from that.
Remember what? Beautiful. So the now he's in Maskas. That's very interesting. He says that one of the ideas of learning Rambam was that when all the Yidden or many Yidden are learning same part of Torah every day, so there's achdus between the Yidden. That's one thing, right? Same thing, which that's true also by other parts of Torah. Meir Shapiro, right? That's true. By other parts of Torah. And there's another Maila which he says is that there's a special thing, according to Alter Rebbe, a special chiyuv to learn all the halachas of a Torah. So there's a halachas. The first thing we in chiyuv in limud Talmud Torah, there's the first chiyuv is that you should learn halachas at Sichos. Person needs to learn the halachas which are negea, what to do, lamaisa. Know what to do. That's the first thing. Right. So we have we should learn akapanim that with at least bekitzer the reasons, and that's why the Alter Rebbe actually wrote it safely. He wrote it with bekitzer the reasons. He also wrote a little bit the reasons. Halachas tameim. But that's the first thing a person needs to learn. Needs to know what to do. Then the next thing there's a chiyuv that Rebbe learns is that there's a chiyuv to learn all the halachas of a Torah, even the halachas which are not negea b'zman hazeh, and to learn all of them, even without the reasons. Without the reasons. And that you have in the Rambam. In the Rif and the Shulchan Aruch, you don't have all the halachas, even the ones which are not negea b'zman hazeh. You have the halachas which are negea b'zman hazeh, right? But the Rambam has halachas of kachim and paris, and a lot of things that
No,
Right.
now,
no, no, no. So you have Erech Chaim, right? Yeridea, Ibn
that's the
Ezra,
daily stuff.
right? Yeridea is the old Negil all the mice. I'm saying there's all the kasha stuff, all the nashim stuff, and I'm saying I'm saying for yeah, and there's and a lot of other things needed there. But all these surim which are Negil was man hazeh, right? And then the Nebuchadnezzar is Negil to Kedushin and all the different halachas Negil between those types of halachas. And then Chesed Mishpat is Dayanos, is Dinim Amenis. No, there's no kachim, there's no taras, and even Zerayim, there's a lot of stuff. So so the Rambam is unique that it has all the halachas of all the halachas, even the ones which are not negative zanazah. And so that's a chiyuv, there's a certain special chiyuv to learn all the halachas of Kala Teda Kula without the tainim. Before we learn the Bavli and Yishalmi, Sifra and Sifri and the Seftas and all the Midrashim and all the other Inyanim, which also a person has to learn. But in the Seder Hadvarim, what comes first? First comes halacha tzrichas. We need to know what to do, and that we should learn, understand also the reasoning to be able to make sure to do it right. That helps us understand what we're doing. But then there's a mile of learning all the halachas of the whole Torah, even the ones with not negros on azah. That's a chiv, part of the chiv limud kala Torah kula is to start off with those halachas.
The Rambam, halacha.
Correct, 100%.
So you're not
No, so it's not about lamaisa. Lamaisa, the first thing a person has to learn the halachas atzrich is not from the Rambam. That's the first thing. Before the Rambam, a person needs to know these opinions, like how a person's supposed to behave. That's the first thing a person needs to. So the Alter Rebbe has a Shulchan Aruch and other and you have to know the whole Shulchan Aruch. Those if you don't have the parts that the Rebbe doesn't have, you have the Mishnah Brura, and you have to know the Maisa what to do, and that you can't look in the Rambam for that. The Rambam lav dafka do is the halacha like the Rambam. But besides for the knowing halachas what to do, there's another chiyuv to know kala Torah kula.
So you what's the you always
You mean Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch?
yeah.
So yeah, so we definitely want to see what the Alter Rebbe says. That would be the first. Right. But sometimes the Alter Rebbe, when Alter Rebbe, the only thing is that we have that there's not the Alter Rebbe doesn't write on everything. Or some of it there was a fire in those days, or some of it got burnt. So therefore, there's parts which the Rebbe actually said, those parts which you don't have from the Alter Rebbe to learn for the Mishnah Brura. So the Mishnah Brura is in Skabel with Yisrael, and he was zeicha because he was Isha Chavetz Chaim, who was careful about lashon hara and all these beautiful things, and Rebbe said clearly that we shall learn the Mishnah Brura when we don't have in parts which we don't have the now also another mile also sometimes Alter Rebbe doesn't talk out every case. The Mishnah Brura was later, so Mishnah Brura sometimes has some more scenarios, some more cases. So sometimes it's helpful to look in the Mishnah Brura to be able to see about other cases which are not clearly discussed in the Alter Rebbe. So it's important to look at a lot of svarim. But in the Bavitch, the basic action is the Alter Rebbe. But as long as you know this is what the Alter Rebbe says, Because we don't always have from Alter Rebbe, and not every case is discussed over there. So so Mishabura is what we look at after that. Yeah. So so there's a chiyuv, there's a special chiyuv to know kol hatayra kula. There's a mitzvah limit hatayra. There's a mitzvah of limit hatayra. There's a mitzvah to learn tayra. There's one mitzvah is that you should person be gisa b'yem v'layla. Person should learn, always be learning tayra. The mitzvah to continuous learning. And there's a mitzvah to learn kol hatayra kula, and to remember kol hatayra kula. It's a mitzvah to know kol hatayra kula. Such a mitzvah. So first thing is a person has to know what to do. Because that's the first thing, right? You have to learn that Reb Shechanarach, you have to know it from the beginning to end, and whatever is not in the Mishabura. You have to know that very well. Sometimes in the Mishabura, you need to know the nice one. What's the minig, right? How to be mefirzich. That's the first thing. Beautiful. Yeah, sure. So that's the first thing. The next thing is that a person has a chiyuv to learn kol hatayra, kula. You have obligation to learn the whole entire Torah, and that chiyuv starts with learning all the halachas of the Torah, which is in the Rambam. That without the reason. So then the Rebbe goes and pushes it further. And Sifhei, he says that since we're talking about Achdus Yisrael, so we're going to do Achdus Kol Yisrael. He says that also women and children, or people who, the Rebbe says not children literally only, but also people who in knowledge, they're just beginners in knowledge. Exactly. The Rebbe said all the time. It's not what it says in the passports, right? So there's so how could they also join? And how could they also join? It's there's a sefer of the Rambam called Sefer HaMitzvos. Right, the Rambam actually wrote the Sefer HaMitzvos many times in different forms, like learning now. Those are learning Sheish HaPrakim. So they have the Sefer HaMitzvos which he wrote before, in the beginning of before he started the Sefer. He writes the Sefer HaMitzvos. He writes all the Tayag mitzvahs, all the 613 mitzvahs, and he writes the Bekitzer, very Bekitzer. The mitzvahs Asay and the Leis Asay. And then he again repeats it when he like we learn the whole index of like how do you say the content of everything in this halachas he's going to be discussing in the Sefer, and repeats again all the mitzvahs. And then before each set of halachas, before he starts, it's Sichos, Sichos. So he again tells you the mitzvahs again, which are applicable to those halachas. He says it in many forms. And then he has a sefer called Sefer HaMitzvos, which is written as Hakdama, as an introduction to this whole Sefer Hayad, to this whole yeah. So he over there, it's written a little more barichos. Each mitzvah is written a little more barichos and a little more length than the way he does it right. The ones which he writes mamish after the introduction. It's unbelievable, and the Rambam was very medayik in every word he wrote, and it's a hard job if you don't have a computer. If someone wants to write something now, but they have to rewrite it 20 times. You delete, write it again. So by the way, in the Rambam, there is different versions of the Rambam. The Rambam did edit different things, and that's why there's differences in different versions. They say in Taiman they were in context, close contact with the Rambam, so they have like most reliable and the most updated version. But there is different changes, and there's actually Shaila to choose from the Rambam why he wrote certain things and different things he changed. Um, but so he has a sefer which a little more barichos, and also and before that sefer he writes sharashim, 14 different sharashim like rules about what's counted as a mitzvah, what's not counted as a mitzvah. And that's a whole world of scholarship for itself. Different commentaries on this on what's considered. No, this is not this. That's made in Avuchim. That's the guide to Perplexed. That's a different book. And these books were not written in Lashon Kodesh. The only book that was written in Lashon Kodesh by the Rambam was the Rambam, was the Mishnah Torah, was the Yad HaChazaka, right? That was the only sefer which was written in Hebrew. All the other books were written including Sefer Mitzvah, written in Arabic, and was translated by Ramesha ben Shmuel ibn Tibun. Right, the Rambam also wrote Pirush Mishnayos, Arabic. Yeah, Arabic. Why?
Is something else.
Aramaic is in the Gemara. The Gemara's language is Aramaic. This is Aramaic. Yeah, different versions of Aramaic, but this is Arabic. Yeah. So, and you have people like Kapach, this Rabbi Kapach from Eretz Yisrael. So he wrote a new Targum for Pirush Mishnayos. But Shmuel ibn Tibun was told by the Rambam himself to translate the Sefer. So, but you could always go back to see what the original Arabic was in order to see. There's always a lot of discussion. What is the real explanation over here? What's the real translation? So the Rebbe says, look at this. This Sefer Mitzvah was written in Arabic. Was written to people who can't learn Lashon Kodesh, right? So obviously, it's something which is supposed to be more accessible for people who can't read Lashon Kodesh. So that's why I was suggesting that those people who, like women and children, or people who have a hard time with with learning the Sefer itself, the Sefer Nam itself, they should learn the Sefer HaMitzvahs. So they divided the Sefer HaMitzvahs at a certain point. It was in Eretz Yisrael. Yeah, there's a lot of places, right? Spain, he was born, right? Started off in Spain, right? So he so he says that how do we keep the Achdus going? How do we want to keep the Achdus of all the Yidden? So he took the Sefer HaMitzvahs, and so we're not going to learn the Sefer HaMitzvahs ala Seder in the regular order. We're going to learn the Sefer HaMitzvahs according to whatever they're learning in the Rambam, they're learning in Shleisha Prakim, they're learning 3 Prakim in the Rambam. Those who learn 3 chapters, we're going to learn. Those who are learning the Sefer HaMitzvah are going to learn the mitzvahs which are connected to those halachas which they're learning. So we made a special seder, and they made a sefer that everything can fit.
That's why I played for a whole week. You have the same mitzvah.
So sometimes the Rambam, the halachas are on one mitzvah. It could take more than one day. It could take a few days. But obviously, you should chazer over the mitzvahs which are ready. Yeah, and also you should try to chaperein also a little bit of the sharashim. Learn the sharashim. So this way you'll have achdus of all the Yidden. And listen, the Indian of achdus is negate to women also, so they're also chayiv and after the kamecha. And we know that women are mechuyev to learn halachas which are negate to them, lamaisa, right? They have to learn all the halachas what to do, right? And they got to know they run the kashrus in the house, and they run a lot of things, right? A lot of halachas are negate to them, so especially we wait when Mashiach is going to come soon. So you could say that even in Yanam which are not negate lamaisa nowadays, but you could say that right now it's already negate. Right now it's already negea because Mashiach is going to come soon. So even though the Rambam talks about karbanos, he talks about kachim and all different things, he says it's considered already negea over here. Especially, he says they get schar. It says a woman make a bracha on mitzvahs which they're potter from, right? And you can make a birchas on this. Yeah, I saw signs in Perek. I think Rabbi Kanievsky used to do Chaim Kanievsky. I think he used to, right, but he did it. I think he had a part of his seder was to learn so he says, it says in some teaches to teach a woman Torah. It says, the Torah Shabbat Pez, Kilo Malamda, it's not a good thing. But he says that's because it says it makes them have armimus. They learn to be a little conniving. But these halachas of the Rambam in Sefer Hayad, it's not shaykh over there because it's like it's without reasons. It's not like you're learning Gemara or something. That's what the Gemara says. So the Gemara says I can learn it to figure out to do Avedas, different things. Lamaisa, that's that. Yeah, so there are certain communities which Adayin, they're very careful not learning too much title with the woman. Right. So Lamaisa, these is not negay over here because there's no reasons over here. They're very simple, straightforward. And especially the Gedolei Yisrael in the last generation, right? The Beis Yaakov schools was made by the Gedolei Yisrael, and to teach them Teda Shachsav and all the lachas which they need, including Yidis Hashem, Avos Hashem, Yiddish, all different things. And furthermore, that the Gedolei Yisrael even allowed the woman to teach Hilchos Tzitzis. There's the Rebbe has, that's another whole topic over here about Rebbe held that cloud that today in this world they're so exposed to a lot of other things. They're already exposed to what the Welt has to say. You just have what to gain by teaching them.
My God.
So, no, about teaching. No, it says that they taught young children to Hilchos Tzitzis, which means like this in Moras, basically. A Mora teach the halachas of tzitzis to little kids. Basically, that's what he's saying. Yeah, even saying but there's a thing. A lot of things that could be included in halachas of tzrichas. Anyhow, I think the most. So we should mishtadel that every man, woman, and child should join in learning the Rambam in one of these ways. And this helps to end in Achdas Hashem, which takes away the reason for the Golus, which was the opposite of Avos Yisrael. So this brings to Achdas Yisrael. So let's say somebody hears about learning Rambam after already started. So where should they start from? They should start wherever everyone else is holding. And whenever they can make up, they make it up. So Hiratzin, no, because it's a practical thing. And first of all, there's Achdas. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's a practical thing. And so this should bring us to what the Rambam finishes off and says that that the whole world will be learning about Hashem, and when Mashiach comes, and all the Yidden are going to be great Chachamim, going to know the secrets of Hashem. Like I said, so this is the launching. This Sichos was the launching of the Rambam's Rambam campaign. So everyone is encouraged to start. Now's a good time to start.
Yeah.
It's something that fills your day. Something to. There's a lot of resources out there, translations and shiurim. It doesn't have to take so much time. There's go to Chabad.org, right? Chabad.org has what is this? Tools. What is it? Or daily studies, right? They have.
I use the daily study.
5 different shurim. 5 different shurim you could look at.
Rabbi
You
Gordon
can
is
put it on
very
fast
easy to
speed. Rabbi
understand.
Gordon. Have a lot of different Magid Shiurim, whichever one fits for you.
My
And
help is the daily study, everything, the whole Sichos, the Hillel, everything.
get everything over there. It's doable. It's doable. It's not so much time. If you do Sefer Mitzvahs, but they were Perek Echad is also not so hard.
I always do Sefer, so I guess I'm gonna double up. I'm gonna do Sefer Mitzvahs and
Yeah, you can do Perek Echad. I'm saying if you're doing Perek Echad, it's beautiful. Perek Echad is
the
doable.
daily mitzvah is not necessary.
Yeah, Perek Echad it says it's his own track. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to do Sefer Mitzvahs if you're doing Perek Echad.
Yeah.
Yeah, saying so. It's something which is very, very doable, and you'll be surprised, as how much you're learning. And it's, you have English translation. You can read it if that's easier.
The Hebrew is very easy to understand.
And
The
so
Rambam
there's
Hebrew.
some svarim halachas are easier than others, some are harder. But there's resources out there, and if you have time, you can learn even better. But it's very doable, very doable. Just besides for the other shurim, you could throw it in. It's not. It could take very short time, 15 minutes. Depends, 15 minutes a day. And
Oh wait, I sit on the bus for an hour. We're told me.
Where do you go?
The Borough Park.
It's some-
When was the last time you've been to a bus?
I go-
I go from Nostrand and 31 all the way to Borough Park. It takes 45 minutes.
What happened? What happened?
Hmm?
What happened?
18.
okay, Allah
Only
Yidden.
these days.
Yeah.
Uh,
These days has been
Chaim,
going on
Chaim.
for 2 weeks already.
Whoever's learning already should be matzliach to have a
I'm ready.
chizuk. Everyone could have chizuk. This is divrei Torah sirchem chizuk. Words of Torah always need chizuk. Always need to be. Sometimes it's hard. We're tired. We start earlier in the day. It's bigger. Better chance of doing it properly. So, but it's a chizuk to make sure to finish it every single day. That day is Rambam for that day, and to learn it. If we're learning it a little more superficial, so we should learn a little better. Everyone on their level, whatever they could add. Chaim l'chaim. Barachat Adonai. Shakil niyod v'ari. Okay, I'm just close this over here. And good night to everyone. Slach Rabba.
So we learn where do you come
My niece is a PhD in Gomorrah, and she was offered a job teaching the men, but she refused. She teaches Daf Yomi to the women in Yerushalayim. Yael Ziegler. Her husband, Ruvain, is the one.